One thing I remember about my grandmother and her cures, and you don't see this so much anymore, and I don't know if it was what it was, maybe unclean living habits or whatever, but a lot of children back in my growing up days would get warts, big old warts the size of a raisin sometimes on their fingers and hands and arms, you know. Most time it's on their fingers. They always told us if you picked up a toad frog and it let out water on you, it will make a wart. Maybe that's what we played a lot of toad frogs. Maybe that's what it was. But anyway, they had warts on their fingers, and children, it just bothered children to have those things, and they were dangerous. You know, you'd hit them on something that would irritate them and things like that, and they were ugly, and little girls and boys both had them. So my grandmother had a cure for that. And I know that this worked too. I can't remember what family member it was used on or what person it was used on. But she had a method. Usually, say you had these warts on your fingers, she would take a string, any kind of string, and she'd have the person sit real still, and she'd tell them what she's going to do. And she'd tie that string around the finger. Not real tight, but she'd tie it above board of the warts, so it wasn't on the downward side. And then she would take that string after she tied it on and say some words or whatever, and roll that string ring out over the wart, pull it off the end of the finger, and hold it. And she would tell the person that she was performing this on or to or for to take this string, put it in your pocket, carry it in your pocket for 3 days. And after 3 days, take the string out of your pocket, dig your place in the ground, and bury it. And she said, when you bury that string, you're also burying that wart, and the wart will fall off. Now, fall off is an important description here. Not reduce in size, not get a little better or get smaller. Fall off. And it worked. Now, I don't have any explanation for that one either. But you would look down. I never had it done. I never had a lot of warts, thank goodness. But the person that was having it done would one day look down. They kind of forget about it. Look down, and the finger would be clear of that wart. It happened. Maybe there's a medical explanation. Maybe it's a mental thing that your curative powers in your body is strong enough to do that. If somebody convinces you that that's going to be done, maybe that's what it is. But it worked. So that was another thing that she did, that I know for sure that she did. And there were only certain people that supposedly had that power, as they called it, to do that. Not just anybody could tie the string around, take it off, till you bear it. It wouldn't work. I think they called people like her that did things like that, like witching women. Not a witch, but witching women, because they did spells and believed in healing and things like that. Of course, a lot of religions now believe in healing, where you can pray things away, even worse than a wart, major things. So maybe that's not too far out, but that happened. And I saw something the other day, and I wonder if any of you, especially older people, we kind of made our own playthings when we were kids, because we didn't have all these things kids and that guy. We didn't have hardly anything to play with. You got a stick for a gun, and we had made our fishing equipment and all that stuff. But here's something we did. I wonder, and I think about my grandmother, and I remember this for some reason in her backyard, in that old house that I showed you there, that my cousins and I, was that I or me? My cousin and I would go out in the backyard playing. And around these old houses, there was always some broken glass. We didn't have garbage pickup, and a lot of stuff was burned and thrown out back. But you'd always find some broken flat glass off of a jar or whatever. And we would find some of this broken glass, a pretty good little sized piece of it. And around these old houses too, and my grandmother and especially my grandfather loved flowers and things like that. So there's always some kind of flowers growing around. And I can't remember what we would call this. I want to say we called it a grave garden or earth garden. But what we do, and we thought it was the greatest thing, you might want to try it and just see what you think about it. We dig a little hole in the ground, about the size, a little bit smaller than the glass. And we'd take some pretty flowers, yellow ones and red ones and whatever color ones, and put down in that hole in the ground, like a grave, earth garden or grave garden, whatever you want to call it. And after you got to put little flowers down there, you would put the glass over the top of it and then kind of level the dirt out so that you have a dirt area, and then you got that little glass, and when you look through the glass, you'll see little flowers down inside there. And for some reason that fascinated us that we did that. Now I'm sure this was shown to us by parents or grandparents that they had probably done this in their childhood days. And it was just an entertainment, an old time ago entertainment. But write me a comment on that. I just wonder if any of you, where you're in another country or another state or whatever, if you went and had these things done or did some of these things that I'm describing.